Girl math is when you use Afterpay for literally everything.
Afterpay, you are my best friend.
I was severely addicted and in a debt cycle with Afterpay.
Why do I care if in 2 months I have to pay another $25? I don't know me 2 months from now.
Right now, this is happening all over America. People are financing burritos, and that's not a joke. DoorDash now lets you split a $15 order into 4 payments. Buy now, pay later is everywhere. Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm, promising 0% interest, instant approval, and no consequences. And as someone who's been running a 7-figure e-commerce business for the past 18 years, I'll be honest with you, it works. Conversions go up, customers spend more, but here's what no one's talking about. Buy now, pay later is quietly driving Americans deeper into debt. Over 60% of users have multiple active loans. Many are financing groceries. Some don't even realize how much they owe until it's too late. And the worst part, we, the sellers, might be part of the problem. So in this video, I'm going to show you the hidden dangers of buy now, pay later and how it's distorting consumer behavior and what e-commerce brands like mine can do to protect both our customers and our businesses. Because once you see how deep the rabbit hole goes, you might think twice about offering it in your store or using it yourself. Now at a base level, buy now, pay later sounds harmless, almost helpful and risk-free on the surface. You're at checkout. You see a $300 gadget, but instead of paying all at once, you're offered 4 easy interest-free payments of $75. No credit check, no waiting, just click and it's yours. It feels like free money, and companies like Afterpay, Klarna, or Affirm have exploded by offering exactly that. A shortcut to getting what you want right now without the guilt of a big upfront cost. And from a customer's point of view, it sounds like a no-brainer. Split up the payments, delay the pain, and maybe your future self will figure out how to pay for it later. But just like every shortcut, there's a hidden toll and most people don't see it coming. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this isn't a new concept. Layaway plans have been around forever, so what's the difference? Well, back in the 80s, layaway meant putting down a deposit, let's say on a dishwasher, and the store would hold it for you until you finished paying it off. No payments, no product. But layaway lost its shine because there was no instant gratification. Buy now, pay later flips that model on its head. You get the product immediately. And it's not just a payment option, it is a mindset shift. Buy now, pay later makes everyday spending feel weightless. No sting at checkout, no friction, just a quick dopamine hit. But behind that smooth experience is a growing pile of unpaid bills. What used to be reserved for emergencies or major purchases is now being used to grab takeout and skincare, and this isn't random. It's the byproduct of 3 major cultural shifts colliding all at once. First off, we've normalized financing everything. Not just cars or couches, but $5 lattes and takeout. If it has a price tag, someone is offering a payment plan. Second, we're drowning in comparison culture. Social media turned our feeds into highlight reels of designer bags, luxury skincare, and curated lifestyles. Buy now, pay later became the shortcut to fake it now and pay for it later. And third, we've got a serious case of post-pandemic YOLO. After years of restrictions, people are spending like there's no tomorrow, and buy now, pay later is handing out the credit, no questions asked. Put all 3 together, and what do you get? The perfect storm for a financial disaster. And we've already seen the impact. Buy now, pay later has exploded from $2 billion in 2019 to $24.2 billion in 2021. And by the end of this year, it's actually projected to hit over $122 billion. So what happens when millions of people start racking up micro debt without even realizing they're in deep? And here's the part that stings, especially for me as a brand owner. Buy now, pay later works too well. When added to a store, conversions will jump almost guaranteed. But every time someone clicks on that buy now, pay later button, there's a voice in the back of my head whispering, did I just help them take on debt that they can't afford? And here's the kicker. As a store owner, I'm actually paying extra for the privilege of that guilt. Most buy now, pay later providers charge 4 to 6% per transaction, which is double what a typical credit card processor charges. And just for comparison, I pay around 2.1% in fees. But it doesn't stop there because the financial hit goes way beyond the transaction fee. Sure, companies like Klarna pay you up front even if the customer doesn't finish their payments, but there's a catch. Buy now, pay later attracts impulse buyers, and that usually means more returns, more support tickets, and more customer complaints. If someone wants a refund, Klarna or Afterpay steps in as the middleman, adding friction to a process that you used to control. And when they start chasing down customers for missed payments, guess who gets the angry email? You do. And the more you rely on them, the more control you give up over your brand, your checkout, and your customer experience, because you're not just handing over payments, you're handing over the final mile of the customer journey. By the way, if you're interested in starting your own profitable online store, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. It's 100% free, and I guarantee you'll learn a lot. So why would any store sign up for this? Well, because it works. Because customers want it. Because if you don't offer it, your competitor will, and they'll get the sale. But here's what no one is talking about enough, especially from the consumer's point of view. These buy now, pay later companies aren't just making money when a customer clicks pay later. They're monetizing every step of the journey. So first off, they're already making double the credit card processing fees from the online store. Then they cash in when customers miss payments, and that happens more than you'd think. About 1 in 3 users ends up paying late at least once. But it doesn't stop there. Every transaction gives them a window into your customer's behavior. What they buy, how often, and how much, and that data gets packaged and sold to other brands who then turn around and compete with you. And even when people pay on time, they still win because they bundle up all that micro debt and sell it to institutional investors, just like subprime mortgages. So no matter how your customer behaves, pay now, pay later, pay late, they built a machine that turns it all into profit. Now here's the part most shoppers don't think about. Sure, it sounds great. Split your payment into 4 easy chunks, no interest, no hassle. But miss just one payment and suddenly you're hit with a late fee, usually $7 to $10 per installment. That might not feel like much if you're buying a laptop, but if you're paying $10 in penalties for a $15 burrito, that stings. And it doesn't stop there. If your bank account's low and the payment bounces, you could get hit with an overdraft fee, up to $35 just for trying to pay later. And unlike credit cards, there's no grace period. You're not earning points. You're not building credit. You're just taking on short-term debt with fewer protections and more risk. If something were to go wrong with your purchase, don't count on getting help either, because these companies aren't bound by the same rules as credit cards. Let's say you get charged for a product that turns out to be junk. With a credit card, you could dispute the charge, but with buy now, pay later, you might be out of luck, because these companies aren't required to follow the same consumer protection laws. Late fees, overdrafts, vague policies, it is all buried into the fine print. And most people don't realize what they've agreed to until it is too late. And for people using multiple buy now, pay later plans, it really adds up fast. Many fall into what is called loan stacking, taking out one loan after another without realizing how much they owe across the board. And in fact, back in 2022, 63% of buy now, pay later users had more than one active loan at the same time. Because these platforms make it incredibly easy to keep spending, no credit check, no approval delays, no warning signs, it's not just convenient. It is actually engineered for financial debt. All you see is, cool, I can get this $1,000 item for $250 today, and within one click, it's yours. But behind the scenes, over 69% of buy now, pay later users are already carrying credit card debt. And nearly a third of them are just 18 to 24 years old, many of whom don't even understand how credit works. And if you fall behind on the payments, some of these companies will send you straight to collections. And yes, your credit score will take a major hit. Buy now, pay later isn't just a payment option. It is a debt trap wrapped in slick marketing, and the more we normalize it, the closer we inch towards another financial bubble. Now let's zoom out for a little bit. This isn't just about burritos and lattes. Buy now, pay later is a symptom of something much bigger. A fragile economy that runs on borrowed time and borrowed money. Right now, American consumer debt is over $5 trillion and it's growing. And to put this into perspective, imagine that you had a printing press that could crank out $1 million per hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It would still take you 570 years to print $5 trillion. And the scary part is that people aren't spending money they have. They're spending money that they hope to have someday. Buy now, pay later gives the illusion of affordability, but it's masking the fact that most people can't afford what they're buying. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because when enough people spend beyond their means, the entire system starts to crack. We saw it with the housing bubble. We saw it with subprime auto loans. And now we're seeing it with microdebt. Death by $1,025 payments. Right now, tariffs are at an all-time high and prices are rising, but we don't feel the pain right away because everything's been sliced into easy, manageable chunks. But those chunks add up, and eventually someone has to pay the full amount. Now, as a leader of a small e-commerce community, I've already seen it starting. Higher return rates, more abandoned payments, customer service issues from people who didn't realize that they still owed 3 more installments. And as a consumer, this affects you too, because when you miss payments, it doesn't just trigger late fees, it can tank your credit score, which may disqualify you from getting approved for a credit card or a car loan. And run out of credit, and you can't buy anything anymore, period. It's a debt bubble, and it's inflating fast. So why is this important for small business owners like you and me? Buy now, pay later boosts sales, it lowers friction, it works. But personally, I don't want to build a business that depends on squeezing short-term wins from customers who are silently drowning in debt. So here's what I'm doing in my store and what I recommend every e-commerce store owner consider. Offer buy now, pay later, but don't push it. Make it available, not pre-selected, and skip the bright banners and the urgency tricks. Let customers choose it and not feel psychologically forced into it. Second, add context. In the cart and on your fact page, include a simple note. If you miss a payment, you'll get hit with fees. And that's it. Transparent and honest. And third, this is big, track buy now, pay later customers separately because they behave differently. Higher return rates, more failed payments, more support issues. Just set up a tag in your CRM and watch what happens because you might be shocked by how much extra support these customers require. Now, to be clear, buy now, pay later isn't evil. Used responsibly, it can help manage cash flow. But as brand owners, we have to ask, are we chasing short-term gains or building long-term trust? Because if your customer base is built on financial quicksand, it's only a matter of time before everything sinks. Buy now, pay later isn't going away. It's fast, it's easy, it's baked into nearly every checkout online. But ease has consequences. And as a consumer, we need to recognize that convenience often comes at the cost of clarity. Debt dressed up as flexibility is still debt. If you can't pay for it in full today, don't use buy now, pay later. Treat every installment plan like it's directly tied to your bank account. Spend $100, you better have $100 right now. And overall, the answer isn't to kill buy now, pay later, it's to use it responsibly. Educate, be transparent, build trust that lasts longer than a 4-payment plan, because in the long run, trust scales better than debt. Now that you know the risks of buy now, pay later, it's time to level up. Watch this next video here to learn how to get ahead of 99% of Shopify store owners. You're going to want to do all these things right now.